On today's show, we tag along with a hunter from Jackson, Minnesota, who wondered if he'd ever be a pheasant hunter again.
It should have been, my heart and lungs should have quit working immediately.
Plus, some folks can't wait to get out ice fishing, so we'll tag along with an early ice guy that specializes in small, forgotten lakes. And what smells so good in the kitchen? Daughter Laura and Chef Jim are cooking up a holiday goose. And later, a classic I'll never forget, down in the Florida Keys, where I had an up-close and personal moment with a tarpon. Those stories and more, next.
Minnesota's select GMC dealers present Minnesota Bound. From the North Country, here's Ron Shera and Raven, the Black Lab.
Hi everybody, Raven and I welcome you to the show. You know, as we reflect back on last fall's hunting seasons, you might remember some challenges, you know, a little bad weather. I remember a blister on the back of my foot. But the story you're about to see is about a hunter who overcame much more than that.
Gotta get my vest on. Okay, I'm ready to go.
With his trusty yellow lab Annie at his side, Mark Raboin,
What the heck? Oh, it's my dog.
at the age of 58,
Come on, Annie.
is once more
Oh, God, look at them get up.
a pheasant hunter.
Well, there they are. I think they're a little gun shy. Needless to say, I think there's a few pheasants in here.
Finally, a few birds fly within shotgun range, but they keep flying.
Let's just say I miss a lot.
The Jackson, Minnesota bird hunter has missed before, and he'll miss again.
How do you like that? That's the way I shoot. Ready for the next miss. You see a duck hunting when I start missing. She gets mad at me and starts staring at me.
Not that missing bird really matters.
They're definitely in here. Wow.
What matters is Mark Raboin is hunting again.
You know, so I took pictures as we went along because
when nobody thought he would.
I'm surprised they're not blurry because I was loaded down with morphine and methadone. When you go to doctors and I'm dressed with a shirt on and they look at me and go, well, what the heck's wrong with you? And I says, well, I electrocuted. Oh yeah? You don't look so bad. One thing about, you survived electrocution, but now I got 48 hours to see if my organs are going to shut down from all the crap that happens inside your bloodstream. And I got boiled, I got microwaved.
It all happened one day when Mark and fellow workers were moving power lines.
It was just outside of town, about 5 miles, and we're moving the line over for so they can make the ditches wider than that. Come right at me, the wire come off. And I seen it coming, and I dove off the truck, head first. It just missed my ear when I was just come right up to my neck. And then as I fell, that's the next thing I remember was this horrible, how do you, I cannot explain it, but I'll just say, like I always said, it's like 10 guys with sledgehammers just pounding you. It's massive power, and you can hear it for a long ways when it shorts out. There's no way I survive it. It should have been, my heart and lungs should have quit working immediately, and it didn't happen, and I just sat there. Everything got white and quiet, and then the light showed up in a tunnel, and it was real peaceful. It was just dead quiet. I couldn't, and I just relaxed, and I figured that was my time. But I figured my guardian angel came, took that wire and pulled it out from underneath my arm, and I fell to the ground.
To the ground and then to the hospital.
I had a surgeon, a young gal that wanted to save my arm, and I says, no. I was smart enough to know that then you have nothing but a dead arm. My wrist would have been that big. There was nothing there. It's like now it's skin over bone.
Mark points to his injuries as if the pictures are of somebody else.
It was still smoking and sizzling, cracking, and grafting. That was terrible.
He seems beyond feeling sorry for himself.
Heck, I'm alive. I get to go hunting and watch me shoot pheasants I can't hit. That's why you live. You only get one chance in this world. The hardest part for me is getting the zipper going.
You know, even if he had, you know, lost both arms or something, he would have still found a way to hunt.
Wife Barb,
I only have to have one glove.
understands.
It's just part of him, and he just doesn't seem like there's a limit of what he can do. He just figures out a way and does it.
That's what's nice about this, is that you control the pressure.
He's still his happy self, and he's always caring, and he's kind, but he's in pain.
It's not comfortable for me to be out.
All the time, and people, you know, don't see that part of him.
The pain level's really high.
But I think that's the hardest part to deal with. Is knowing that he's constantly in pain.
Well, I'm at about a 7.5 right now for pain level, and my hips are starting to go.
And it'll probably always be that way. But he just keeps plugging away.
But we're having fun.
It helped that, I mean, he always has a positive attitude. So, you know, he was always smiling and joking around with me. I mean, just like when I got to the hospital and the first thing he says is, "What are you doing here? You know, you don't need to come down here." Like, it was no big deal, and really, he looks at life with, you know, I'm thankful for every day.
We'll spread out and just go straight.
I have to carry a little bit more now when we go out hunting, but, you know, other than that, he is the same.
So, now you know why missing a pheasant doesn't count for much.
In there.
What counts is being out there. Moments later, Annie has a job to do.
Okay, watch it. She's in there. She saw that go down. Where is it, Annie? What? Here it is. Think that's smart? See his head? He's hiding in the grass. Yeah, good girl. I thought it was a mouse. You know what you were doing. Good girl, Annie. See?
Careful, you might kick a little.
More scars.
Mark's game bag carries more than just a ringneck pheasant.
Yeah, it seems like he really teaches people to, I mean, ignore the small problems you have in life, ignore those daily stresses and things that you take for granted. I mean, look at the big scheme of things, and I mean, we have a lot to live for.
Not such a bad shot after all.
Well, we got 2 birds. That's good enough.
There might be a legal limit on pheasants in the bag.
It doesn't matter if it's the worst day in the world.
But there's no legal limit on fun in life.
You know he's having fun no matter what.
Up next, can't wait to get on the ice to go fishing, then you'll want to tag along with a guy named Greg.
How's that one?
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers. Renewal by Anderson, makers of quality replacement windows and doors. Connecticut, better water flows from better thinking. And by Ice Force, proven hard water gear.
Welcome back. You know, it won't be long. The ice fishing season will be here in full force. But that brings up a story about a guy who is just an ice fishing addict. Why, he can't wait to get out there. Bill Shirk has the story.
Routine. Not exactly the word to describe Greg Clausiau's days. Long before sunup, Greg wakes up Nashwauk-Keewatin High School.
I could do this with my eyes shut. That's good to get this on film. This doesn't belong here.
Greg is a key clanking, machine grinding shot of morning caffeine.
I usually wake up 3:30, 4 o'clock every day.
Heck, by the time anyone else shows up, he's already wrapping up morning chores.
Let's go fishing. I grew up out here and it's just a part of my life.
Greg winds his way through Itasca County's rural roads in search of Minnesota's forgotten lakes, just where he wants to be.
We're here.
Right as the fall lakes freeze up.
Here's the finishing touch.
For Greg, this day and this trip are special.
See if it's going to start here.
It's his first ice passion, running a long, long time.
I always like to be near water, like most kids. You know, that's how we grew up. I never lost that love of the outdoors. And it's still here. I'm still living here and I still love the thing.
His love of that first trip of the year led to a Thanksgiving weekend tradition. Greg would guide friends on Minnesota's smallest lakes soon as they froze up.
Anybody in the biz, they were up there and we'd have a good time. People were hurt if they didn't get an invitation.
Today, Greg's bringing back his tradition alongside best fishing buddy Blake Lean.
Oh!
Somehow, I got the invite too.
Nice fish.
Heck, the story behind these two is better than our fishing.
Yeah, he was a janitor at the school when I was going to high school. We'd have to stay till after 3. He'd be done at 2. You know he's fishing somewhere and you know he's catching fish, so it just bugs you to stay for that last hour.
You know what? Yeah.
Finally, the two fished.
I was on a hot bluegill bite and I asked if he wanted to go, and we've been fishing together ever since.
I call them the click and clack of the ice world.
Click and clack.
This time of year, you take what Mother Nature gives you. These little lakes are perfect. The big lakes are real sketchy. They might even be wide open. Come on, fish. Come on, hit it.
Peace and quiet. And then you get that's the excitement. There we go.
Nice fish.
There it is. Finally. Finally sweet talked that one into hitting a maggot.
He can catch fish, that's for sure. He can outfish a lot of younger people, including me.
Nice, healthy, husky crappie, nice and fat. It's just a lot of fun. It's still a game to me, too. Big game. Look at this one. How's that one? What a beauty. On Northland's new Impulse Mini Smelt.
Here's the thing. Up here, Itasca County is home to Greg figures about 1,000 lakes, and he hopes to someday fish every one.
I hope I make it. I only got 600 or 700 to go.
Look at them twins.
Golly.
Twins, huh?
Fish with Greg.
Those are two dandy fish.
Yes, look at how thick they are.
You realize the guy knows exactly what he's doing.
You don't see this every day.
Just one thing. Don't ever ask for his favorite fishing spots.
No, I don't tell anybody about it.
Prairie chicken, you can use goose, duck.
And what do daughter Laura and Chef Jim have cooking in the kitchen? How about a traditional holiday goose gone wild?
Closed captioning for Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Joe's Sporting Goods.
Joe's, your outdoor headquarters for all your sporting goods needs.
For good reason, too.
Over 80 years in business. Family owned. Family run.
All my favorite brands and all the best equipment year-round.
We need gear and advice we can depend on. That's why we choose Joe's.
Hey, find anything?
I found a few things.
Joe's, your outdoor experts.
Time now to see what's cooking that's wild. Well, with Christmas coming up, how about Christmas goose? Daughter Laura has found just the right chef.
today we are getting wild in the kitchen with Jim Kinberg, who's the culinary director of Crave Restaurants, and it is the holiday season. Happy holidays to you.
To you as well.
Thank you. And many of us are entertaining this time of
Correct.
year. So we have a fun little appetizer that we're doing with prairie chicken.
We are. Prairie chicken, you can use goose, duck, whatever wild game you have sitting around, defrost it, and then cut it into little cubes. And we're going to marinate that in a little bit of teriyaki sauce. And then the fun thing we're going to be doing with these, for the skewers, and here's the reference to Christmas, we're going to be taking these rosemary skewers, which have this nice stiff stalk on them. Just kind of peel those away, and you have a little skewer just like that.
Look at that. So let's start putting the skewers together.
All right, we're going to start with a little bit of prairie chicken and do a little mushroom. And we've got some water chestnuts. We're going to wrap these in bacon.
That looks delicious.
Yes, everything tastes better with a little bacon on it.
That's right. Now this will help add a little fat to the pan as well, considering the chicken is so lean.
Definitely, so it'll help it kind of keep from sticking to the pan. So you have something that looks like that. So yeah, just kind of keep going until you run out of room.
That looks pretty already.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to brush just a little bit of olive oil on there, keep them from sticking. So we've got one of these nice indoor grill pan, I guess you could call it. Got it heated to probably about medium high.
Listen to that sizzle. So how long do you leave the skewers sitting before you start turning them?
About a minute or two. You want them to get a little bit of color. And the final step we're going to do is just glaze them with a little more of that teriyaki sauce.
Okay.
That's going to be the last step because there's a lot of sugar in the teriyaki sauce. You don't want it to burn up. All right, we're going to turn off the heat and we're going to go to the plate with them.
Well, thank you, Jim. This looks amazing. And happy holidays to you and yours. And if you're doing some entertaining this season, I would suggest trying the Christmas skewers.
Coming up in our Minnesota Bound Classic, a look back at a Florida Keys trip I'll never forget.
Oh, nice! Yeah. Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Ellsworth Cooperative Creamery. Hennepin County Medical Center, bringing outdoor safety tips from the experts at HCMC to your mobile device. And by Seven Clans Casino.
Time now for our Minnesota Bound Classic. You know, a few years ago, I took a trip down the Florida Keys to go fishing when I stumbled on a tourist attraction where you can feed the tarpon. Well, the tarpon did the rest.
Once upon a time on a fishing dock in the Florida Keys, Mother Nature was putting on a show starring hungry tarpon, and I was in the act.
This is just like holding your hands down among a bunch of alligators.
Joining me on stage, the dock, is Moss. Moss is the star of Pelican Watch. Moss and the tarpon do their thing every day here at a place called Robbie's.
It's a neat thing for people to be able to interact with fish that they normally would only interact with a fishing rod. They get to come and see the tarpon, understand a little bit about what a tarpon is, what a tarpon really looks like up close. They get to see how they feed.
They feed. Well, like they mean it.
I feel what it's like to be bait.
Moss's job isn't easy. Pelicans are birds with a pig's attitude and a thief's mind.
I didn't see him coming.
He'll bark at him, he'll shoo him off from the dock. He'll jump in the water and swim after him, but it's in his breeding and instinct not to harm anything.
In the meantime, tarpon of all sizes wait for the next visitor carrying a bait bucket.
You know, it's fun. When I'm standing there and some people will say, well, what's it like? I won't tell them. I'll say, I'm taking a part of it away if I tell you. So when they come out here, they're expecting to see one or two fish. When they see the hundreds and the sizes of them, They just can't believe it.
A lot of the resident populations ends up hanging around here during the wintertime. So we have tarpon pretty much so all year long.
All day long, most tarpon are either eating or thinking about it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he was hot.
Oh. Boy, when they snap their jaw open like that, it still gives me a fright.
It's a hickory-dickory dock when a tarpon hits like a rock. You'd love to be fishing. Instead, you are wishing that your fingers are still on the dock.
You know, I'm lucky I still have a hand, right? Lots of fun, though. Well, that about does it for us. Remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors. I'm Ron Sharon, of course, always the star of the show, as you know who.
Guests appearing on Minnesota Bound receive gift certificates to Crave Restaurants. Fresh, vibrant, America. Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.